Okay, so in this video, we're going to discuss the lockdown for today, which is our first Alice drill, just because yesterday we had a lot going on with the lab. So at about 1:45 today, there's going to be a building-wide lockdown drill that will happen during your period in chemistry. Now, obviously, I am not there today, so you will be working with the sub, and another teacher might come in to help as well. So this is just a reminder that today, during this lecture, I'm going to be discussing a variety of topics that may make us feel a little bit uncomfortable. Today's not the time for jokes or making light of the situation. Keep in mind that other students have different experiences than you do, so making jokes might be offensive to them. Violent jokes or references to your own instigation of a threatening event will not be tolerated, and you will be participating digitally through the discussion piece of this drill. And please treat the drill with a positive attitude and have a positive demeanor about it, just knowing that this is going to be a practice drill, and it's not the time for jokes. So just some things that Eisenhower does to keep you safe. So visitors are required to sign in upon entering the building with Mr. Maskey. The outer doors to the building are locked at all times. Patio doors are monitored during passing time. We practice evacuation and fire drills. We practice tornado drills, and we practice lockdown drills to help keep you safe and prepared. Some things that you can do to keep Eisenhower safe: don't open outer doors to anyone looking to gain entrance to a building during the school day. All guests who enter the building are going to use the security office. They should also have badges identifying them as visitors. People in our hallways that we do not know is a huge concern for Eisenhower, so if you ever see someone who doesn't have a badge that's walking around and doesn't look like a teacher that you've seen before, you might want to alert the office. So some other things you can do to keep the school safe is listening to all the staff members, so all your teachers and anyone who is on the staff at Eisenhower. Make sure that you are following directions immediately. If you're in the hallway, get to an unlocked classroom as quickly as possible. Keep your cell phone on silent and put away. These rules are going to be the same no matter where you are in the building. So in the event of an armed intruder, we're going to go into lockdown in order to be safe and assess the situation. And then obviously Mr. Gemignani or someone in the office will be keeping us updated on the situation over the PA. So with lockdowns, it is possible to have lockdowns to address situations that do not involve intruders. Sometimes it's necessary to keep someone out of the building. Sometimes it's necessary to keep everyone in their current location for some other reasons. And then when something is happening off campus that might be dangerous, we may be in a lockdown situation here. At these times, please make sure you are listening to all Ike staff members. Keep quiet, remain calm, and wait for further instruction. If there is an intruder in the building, we're going to follow the Alice protocol, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in this presentation. When there is a lockdown due to an intruder, we're going to initiate these procedures. We're going to go to a safe place in the classroom away from the windows and doors. So keep in mind that our windows on the doors are going to have shades that will block anyone from seeing in. Make sure that you are following staff instructions. Make sure you are quiet and calm. Putting your cell phones away and making sure they're on silent is critical. So in these situations, you might only have seconds to react. If a staff asks you to do something, they're doing it in your best interest. So make sure you are doing it and listening. As you guys probably remember, ALICE is not a person. It's an acronym to help us save lives. So A stands for alert. Let as many people as possible know what's going on. L is for lockdown. Use the lockdown procedure learned in the past and assess the situation. Inform, continue to give people the most up-to-date information about the situation. Counter, do what you're able to do to stay safe, only use for dire situations. And evacuate, get out of the building and away from the threatening situation whenever you have an opportunity. Communication should come through the PA system. If you hear the term lockdown, we mean lockdown. You will hear it said 3 times. If it is not a lethal incident, information will be included in the announcement, such as shelter in place. Lockdowns supersede fire and evacuation alarms. So if there is a lockdown and the fire alarm is pulled, we are not leaving the classroom. Remember that all that communication should be coming via the PA system. So if you're in contact with a person of authority, make sure you are following all directions given to you. Any law enforcement or any staff member, make sure you are listening to what they're saying. Lock down your classroom and area by doing the following. So making sure that the doors are secure, turning off the lights, restricting viewing into the room, which we should have window coverings all the time, moving out of the line of sight, and maintaining silence. It is really important that you're quiet during these lockdowns. Remember that we do have these safety straps, and we need to make sure that we are putting those on the doors anytime that we are in that lockdown mode. So what are some other things that we can do to stay safe in school in addition to a lockdown? So we're going to briefly discuss what we can do if there's an intruder in the building. Intruders aren't necessarily people who intend to cause harm, but they are anyone who does not have permission to be in Eisenhower, and we're going to treat the situations very similar. Obviously, if it is someone who does intend to cause harm, there are some extra steps that we're going to take. So the teacher, the staff member, must be the person who is closest to the door. If the intruder has forced entry, or if forced entry is feared, we're going to barricade the door with anything available. So that means all of your backpacks, anything that is not basically stuck to the wall is going to go in front of the doors so that there are barricades for people to overcome. If there is forced entry occurring or it's imminent, make sure that you use any available exit for escape and take measures to defend yourself. So in our science rooms, we do have 2 doors. If we have an intruder and we know that it is only one intruder coming in one door, it might be our best bet to exit out of the other door. And we're going to make sure that we're taking measures to defend ourselves at all times. All right, so a question here. If you're on a mission and encounter a challenging obstacle, what do? Generally, you're going to have to think about it and figure out how to overcome it or find a new route. Same thing with intruders that intend to cause harm. So if we set up a barricade, they might have to rearrange what they were planning on doing, or they're going to have to basically give up and maybe just give up on that mission that they have in their head. So barricading is really important. Anything that we can to put in front of the door and to barricade it is going to be helpful to keep us safe. With the science rooms, obviously our lab tables do not move, but anything you can put in front of the door, such as backpacks, any desks that aren't being used, tables, everything is supposed to go in front of the door to create a barricade for that intruder. Here are just some examples of how we could use some furniture and other things to barricade the door. And some more examples. So basically everything that we can put in front of the door, we're going to use. Usually in a dangerous situation, we have this fight or flight mode that's going to occur within us. It's not going to be something that we really have control over, but that flight mode is really going to pertain to evacuating. So if we have the opportunity, we're going to exit and leave the building, run as far as you are able to. The reunification point is going to be the Woodridge Community Church Center. And you're going to want to leave the school driveway and turn left on Sunny Slope Drive to get there. Here's a picture of what that looks like. It is right on Sunny Slope. It's just going to be a little north of where our school is. So we're going to want to try to make that reunification point if we do evacuate the building. When is a counter maneuver necessary? So counter is part of that ALICE acronym. It doesn't necessarily mean attacking the intruder. Some things you can do to protect yourself. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail of what counter could be. If you feel like it's going to protect you, throw something at the intruder, run past the intruder, shield yourself from the intruder using classroom items. So anything you can do to keep yourself safe. Now, when we say counter, it really means a couple different things. So that means to stress the aggressor. So make them have to change their plans, stress them out a little bit so that maybe they're just going to forget about attacking or, try to go elsewhere and keep yourself safe. We can distract the aggressor, so disrupting the aggressor, interrupting the aggressor's plans. Basically, we don't want to let it play out like they planned it. If for some reason we are in the cafeteria, Students are going to go to the upper gym, the lecture rooms, auditorium, or performance music rooms. We're going to make sure that the doors are secure. Be quiet and put away all your cell phones. If there is a chance to evacuate, if you're in the cafeteria, remember you have doors at the main entrance. There's the north doors by the patio, and then there's the music wing that also has doors. Remember that the reunification point is going to be Woodridge Community Church Center. If we are in the commons during a lockdown or evacuation procedure, we're going to make sure that the north and south doors are closed and take the emergency bags. Students may be asked to assist, so making sure you know where things are is always a good idea. We're going to turn off the main lights, which are located on the west wall. The students might be asked to assist again, so making sure that you're aware of which wall is which. The west wall is going to be the wall that has the commons cafeteria area. That's going to be the west side of the building. Moving students to the student services or makerspace and closing the doors would be ideal. So if we are in the commons, we're going to try to make it to those spots and then lock the doors and remain quiet. Make sure that our cell phones are put away. So some questions that we're just going to kind of review. What should you do if you find yourself in the hallway or bathroom when a lockdown is announced? How long can lockdowns last? What is our reunification point if you need to evacuate? Should you get in a car and try to drive away if possible? When can you use your cell phone? So I'm going to ask you to answer these questions, and in the answers on your EdPuzzle, I will elaborate a little bit more on these items. All right, last but not least, if you have any questions, I did give you a chance to ask them in the EdPuzzle. Remember that as staff members, it's our job to keep everyone safe. We're going to make the best decisions with the information that we have. Please trust your teachers and listen to them, and make sure you don't jeopardize the safety of others in any sort of intruder situation.